Welcome to the other side of normal, where strange stories, unexplained experiences, and curious minds meet. I'm Nacho. Here, the questions matter more than the answers. This is the other side of normal. Okay, welcome to the other side of normal. Tonight we have Ashley from Pen Paranormal. I've been very excited for this for a long time. um, you've been doing this a very long time, and you're not that old, so you've been doing it most of your life, I would imagine.
Well, I've been doing it since I became a mom. So when my after my first son was born, I was a stay-at-home mom for years. And when he was about 2, got I've always kind of been into the paranormal, but I started investigating with my best friend. We literally back in those days, we just had our can you still see me?
Yep.
Okay. All right. It said connection lost on my end.
Oh boy.
So yeah, and you're frozen for me, so I might have to redo something,
Uh-oh. You sound,
well,
I mean, you sound to look good, so I don't know what's going on.
okay, we'll keep going then. Um, so yeah, when he was about 2, my best friend and I, we've had experiences kind of our whole lives dating back to early childhood, and so we took just our cassette tape recorder, one of the old small ones, and we took it and, that and a digital camera that had just come out at the time, actually. And we took that and started investigating cemeteries and houses that we knew to have activity.
That's really cool. Now,
Yeah.
as a kid, did you have anything happen to you that brought you into this, or was this something that you picked up on?
So, one of my earliest memories as a child was paranormal, I think. I mean, I don't know, you never know. But when I was just about 3 or 4, I was in bed one night and a man came around the doorway to my bedroom and just kind of stood, and I could see part of him, not all of him. He was kind of just peered around the door, and his clothes, his face, like I saw everything very much in detail. And he eventually walked over to my bed and sat down on the end of my bed, and I pulled the covers up over my head, and it was one of those situations where you're just too afraid to do anything. Like, I was too afraid to scream or yell for help, or it was just silence. And, when I finally pulled the covers back down, he was gone. And at the time, I didn't of course, I was too little to even know what that was, or even to know about ghosts or their possible existence. Um, so it was just a really scary experience for me. And then I continued to have experiences all throughout growing up. And then as I like went to college, I started having experiences in other places. So I feel like my whole life has been, littered with these different paranormal experiences, and they were very scary at one time. And so part of being in this community is and going out and investigating and researching is just kind of a desensitization of what was once scary, or going out and finding answers for what things might be.
For sure, for sure. Um, so that leads me to my next question: is there anything that scares you, or something that you think would scare you? When you're investigating, you're like, that room's creepy, but I'm going in it anyway. Or is there something just like that's a nope? I'm not messing with that.
I'm trying to think if there's ever been a situation where I've not done something. Not that I can think of. I'm pretty open to exploring things and pushing myself and challenging myself. because that's when we tend to have the best experiences, I think. When our bodies have that sense of fear, I think we put off a different energy that maybe allows things to come in and use that to interact.
I would agree with that. That when your senses are on the verge of being out of control is when you're going to receive a lot more. Uh,
Absolutely.
my whole thing is I'm a veteran. I've been through a war. I've been shot at. I've shot people. Um, there's not a lot that scares me, but there
Mhm.
are things that will definitely get my. We just did a investigation with the Ghost Sisters last Friday night, and we were doing a three-person Estes on 3 floors of the Bel Air house, and somebody came up and tapped me out. And when I looked up, there was nobody there, but they were all at the other end of the camera going, "We told them to tap you on the head, and they tapped you on the knee." Um, that sent
Wow.
goosebumps all over me. It didn't
That's
scare
so
me, but I
cool.
was like, "Wow, that's amazing."
Yeah, that is so cool. I love that. I didn't realize you were at the Bel Air house, and there's probably a reason for that. Can we talk about that? Can
Yes.
we talk about the fact that how does this interview even happen? Because for some reason, we can't connect on Facebook.
It's crazy.
For the whole time I've been on Facebook, well, here's how I was welcomed to the paranormal community on Facebook. I I started up my page several years ago, and there was a man that started private messaging me, and he was asking me, "Have I ever been to this prison in?" I think it was Tennessee or Kentucky. I don't remember which. Um, but he was asking if I had ever been there, investigated there, and I was like, "No, I haven't." And then he continued to like give me details about different things that were happening in this prison, and I eventually came to realize that he had way too many details of this prison to have just seen these things on an investigation. Like, he was talking about the same thing happening night after night after night. And so I eventually figured out that he was an inmate there. I don't know if he was like still an inmate there when he was messaging me somehow, or if he was released. But I did look up his name and I found out what he had been convicted of, and it was not a minor crime. I'll tell you that. Went back, I thought, "I'm not gonna block him right away because that's kind of scary, I don't wanna make somebody mad." So I waited a few days, and I went back in to block him, and he had changed his profile picture to my picture. And so that was my welcome to Facebook. So and he was the first person
Oh,
I ever blocked on Facebook. I don't do a lot of blocking, so it would be unusual for you to have been blocked in the first place, but I thought you had blocked me because every time I saw Verona Ghost, it was it wasn't bolded like somebody that I had
yeah,
access to,
yeah.
and so when you reached out to me and you were like, "What did we do to make you angry?" I thought, "What? Like, surely I didn't accidentally block somebody," but I've gone in multiple times and checked. I've had my husband look with
Yeah.
me. Like, I don't understand it. I don't know, unless it's just the universe trying to, like, not let this connection happen.
I have no idea. Like I had to build another channel and go search for you to find you. And I'm like, what? And we the same thing. I think we have two people blocked, just because they're very belligerent and ignorant. We stay out of all the drama. We try to treat people the way we want to be treated. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this lady's awesome, and we're blocked. And what did we do?
Not not a thing, I assure you. I do not have you blocked. It's just the weirdest thing. I reached out to
It's
people to be like, "What could this be? How can I access them?" I mean, my friends, they have access to you. I cannot figure it out. So, just one of those things, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I found you.
Well, I appreciate you reaching out. I'm happy to be here tonight.
Oh, well, like I said, it means a lot to me. You're somebody that I've watched for a couple years, um, as we were starting to do this, and there's a lot of people that I've watched, but you're one of them, and I'm like, I would really like to get her on this podcast that I'm starting. Um, So thank you very much for coming on.
You betcha. Thanks for the
Um,
invite.
as long as it stays well through the whole thing, we'll be good. uh, Deborah says, I think it's something within Facebook, and it might be. I mean, uh, it's just really hard to tell. It
It
really
is
is.
hard to tell, but it
So
was a
all you
relief.
guys that are already in the comments, if you have questions, please ask them. Um, we've only been on a few minutes, and there's already 12 people on here, which
Nice.
is very quickly building up. And there are a lot that I don't know. So there are people coming from your side to see you, which I really appreciate as well.
Well, thank you for everyone that's in here. I can't see the comments, but I appreciate you being here.
Oh, I can put them on the stream.
Okay.
That kind of blocks your face, though.
Well, I don't have you. You're frozen. You've been frozen since we started.
That's crazy.
Oh, there
Well,
they
I
are.
can stay frozen. You see them now?
Yeah, I can see them.
So I'm So you have some pictures that you sent me. So we're gonna start
Yeah.
talking about them, and we're talking about the ghoul friends.
Okay. That's my favorite subject other than ghosts.
I'm gonna make this picture a little bigger. There we go. And you can tell me who this is and where you're at.
Okay. So this is actually our big group. So the girlfriends are they're four women who we kind of met through different ways and just really clicked. And we formed a fast friendship and have become best friends. So we investigate together and talk every day. And it's such a great group. And then, so the picture you have up is a picture of like a larger group of women that we investigate with. And these ladies are from Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, one there from North Carolina. So, yeah, those are my ladies. I love them. We have a lot of fun together.
So, and this is, I guess, this is the core group.
Yeah, that's going to be the ghoul friends. It's loading in there on my side slow, but um yeah, and we'll be together again this weekend. It's been too long since we've all been together. I think we've all had projects recently that have kind of refocused our energy in other places, but this weekend's just going to be a fun time to be back together. And we like to go to Mount Mora Cemetery, and that's in St. Joe. So that's where these photos are taken.
Okay, okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And now, where
So
are you
we'll be
guys going
together
this
this
week?
week. This weekend we'll be at Sleeper Mortuary,
Oh, okay.
and we will be with Chumming with the Spirits. They're hosting an event there. And so it'll be us and our spouses and significant others and Parawonkies out of Kansas City or Liberty and Jocelyn and Erica from Solo Paranormal. I know she's making fun of herself and
Uh,
her cream shoes. She always tells us we have to wear black on black on black, and but she always wears those tan hey dudes everywhere. When we met at the Paracon in Caney.
that's pretty cool.
Yep. Is where Jocelyn and I first met.
Somebody else asked a question and I missed it, and then I got to go back. Oh, Jocelyn asked it. Can you ask Pen her favorite investigation memory?
Well, I can tell you the one I'll never forget as far as ghost hunting. Um, Jocelyn and Ashley with Let's Go Ghouls. She's part of the Ghoul Friends also. That's her, the blonde. And so the three of us were in the tunnels at Glore Psychiatric Museum. We were at an event and we were wrapping things up, had like 15 minutes left to investigate, and Jocelyn had a new laser grid that we hadn't used that night. And she said, let's use this real quick. And she took it and popped it on at the end of the tunnel. And there, against the block wall where the tunnel used to go all the way through, but it's been blocked off since, there, about 25 feet from us, was just a man standing there. And I always thought that when I saw in a laser grid cause the light to shift, like I've seen that before, the light shifting.
Mhm.
This apparition absorbed the light. Like you couldn't see the laser on him. It looked like churning energy. It was the wildest thing. And her and I were just stunned, stood there shocked. And then we turned and looked at each other after he faded and just cried because what an awesome experience. And Ashley was
Yes.
digging in the equipment bag and missed the whole thing. She was like, "What?
Oh,
What happened? What happened?" But, it was such a neat experience. So that's
oh,
definitely
wow.
one of my favorites.
That's really cool. I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like that in a grid. I've seen,
Yeah.
I've seen the light react to whatever or
Mhm.
completely be blacked out, but I have never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I thought I was, like I don't know, I didn't even know how to explain it, or I thought maybe I was imagining what I was seeing, but then she had the exact same experience. And then I recently read a book called The Screaming House. And in that book, for the first time, I heard somebody else describe an apparition in a laser grid as churning energy. And I thought that, okay, so someone else has seen that. Like it looked the same to somebody else.
Wow,
So that was cool.
that's really cool.
Hmm.
That is really cool. Um, yeah, we use our laser grid a lot. We haven't caught a lot in it, but when we do, we're always just so shocked that like, what the heck was that? And then we just question ourselves, like, wow, we didn't really see that. And even with a camera, it's still so very hard to see.
Hmm.
But that's cool. That's
Hmm.
cool that you got something that vivid in it.
Yeah, it was amazing. And even though we didn't get it on camera, at least we both saw it at the same time. We both had the same reaction. And so it was very validating to experience that together.
So
What's your
what do you
favorite
say
piece
to
of equipment?
people? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's your favorite piece of equipment?
We do this all the time. Um,
I know that's a hard question. It
yeah,
should be an easy one. It's hard.
it is easy, but it's hard. I like to play with
Mhm,
the XLS camera. I'm just not sure how reliable it is. Um, we've had
mhm,
two SLS cameras together recording, seeing the same thing at the same time, and like a REM pod being activated. So for me, that felt like there's there's something on that one. Um, I love my digital
mm,
recorder. I don't know that you can replace that. I think that's the big thing. Deborah Lynn, she says, I love my
mhm.
tripwire. Our tripwire is another thing that I really, really like. Um, yeah, those three things are like all in the top for me. How about
Good
you?
choices. Um, yeah, I like all of those. I don't have an XLS camera. Don't have one of those. One of my good friends does, a really nice one, that one of our friends built for her. And when they use it, it's amazing. Like I feel like it's probably one of the more reliable ones that I've seen. So that is a really cool piece of equipment that I enjoy watching work. I like my tripwire. I like really simple things. I even just like uh, just sitting there and seeing what I feel in the space or the energy I feel in the space. Last weekend I used a okay, so Jocelyn's right. My favorite is the death whistle, but it's just for laughs. I'm sure it stirs up energy because it instills fear in others, but um, yeah, I'm a jokester. So if you investigate with me, this is your warning. Yeah.
That's pretty
But
good.
last weekend, we just used I got a new strobe light. And you know, that strobe effect, you can sometimes see things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see. So we did some really cool experiments with that strobe and mirrors and created some really cool energy that caused some wild things to happen. So that was a lot of fun. I think I'm going to take that one step further. I investigate in about a month with venture into the paranormal, and we're going back to the same location. So um, I'd like to try that again. Yeah, just like simple things. My friends are ratting me out on here.
Well, I mean, at least you know you have friends.
I have the best I have the best friends.
And that's a big part of this community is the people that you get to meet. Um, we have met some incredible people. We've met some not so great people too, but they're not nearly as plentiful as the good people, and that's to me that's a big deal.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I look at some of my strongest friendships that I have, and they are people that I've met because of the paranormal. And yeah, I would do anything for the girls, and I know that they would for me, regardless of whether it was related to the paranormal or
Yeah,
not. You know, we're
yeah,
just there for each other, and it's great to have those kinds of strong friendships.
that's absolutely it. I met this guy about a year, maybe about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. His name is Ryan from Trap Souls, and he's the one that kind of
Mhm.
pushed me into. He didn't physically push me into podcasting, but he's doing it, and I've always thought about it. So he's kind of like shoved me, the right way. But when I met this guy,
Mhm.
and he says the same thing, it's like I've known him my entire life. It's just so odd that we have so much in common. We think alike, and it's just I I can tell what he's thinking. He can tell what I'm thinking, and it's really odd how quickly we form this bond that we have. And it's insane. Now I have other friends that I picked up as well that I think a lot of. We our team is probably I think we're at 10 people now. We never get 10 people together because it's impossible to do that. We started doing
Right.
all these collaborations with these other groups like, hey, we can take 20 people to this place. We have four of us. Let's get four from this group, two from this group. So we start last year, we
Mhm.
did 6 or 8 investigations with anywhere between 2 and 5 groups. And we ended up this guy Ryan from Trap Souls. They started coming with us, and we were doing things together. We have now formed another group, um, and it's actually I think it's 7 groups that are coming together, and it's only like the main people from each group coming together to join. And it's Beyond the Spirits. We do a podcast, Beyond the Spirits, and so we get together and we all investigate. We're going to go to oh, I just forgot the name of it. Deborah, help me out. What's the name of the place in Millersburg, Ohio? Terrace View is the name of it. Um, we're all going to go. There's going to be about 18 of us. We're going to go there and investigate together. In 2 weeks, we're going to OSR to investigate together. Uh, Southern Ohio Paranormal Society is one of those teams, and they just popped on here. Um, but it's truly para unity, right? People say para unity is dead. I don't believe that. And anybody that says to me, "Hey, I want to investigate with you," we're gonna figure it out. We're Pennsylvania, so we go Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, West Virginia, Indiana. We're not gonna be able to drive 12 or 14 hours, but we definitely would try to make it happen. And I think it's a big
Right.
deal because there's so many quality people out there that you can investigate with, learn from. It's a big deal to us.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you like collaborating with others. I think that's so important. And like you said, it's not only fun meeting new people and hanging out with new people, but I always walk away having learned something. It doesn't matter if I am with an investigator who's out for the second time ever, or if I'm with somebody who's done it for years. I always walk away learning something new.
Yeah. I think we have 12 or 14 investigations scheduled for this year, and I think all of them are collaborations. I don't think I have anything just for our team. It's just we decided at the beginning of the year, it's the year of collaboration. We're going to do any investigations with any team that wants us to, and that's
Mhm.
just been our motive for this year. And I think it's always has worked out well.
Yeah, you're gonna have a great year.
Well, let's see.
That
So
was kind of what our last year was. We collaborated with a lot of different people. Um, and I'm kind of refocusing now. Usually investigate anywhere and everywhere, or do you predominantly stay in your neck of the woods? Okay, good question. It's expensive to travel. So we stay around here a lot. I'm very fortunate to be in Kansas where we have some really amazing locations. I'm also near or in an area of Kansas, Oklahoma. I'm right on the border, right on the Oklahoma border, that have some just even like outside locations that are phenomenal to investigate for different reasons, ley lines and history and a lot of things that lend themselves to paranormal activity. So we have a lot of options, I feel like, whether we want to travel or don't want to travel. The farthest I've been is Waverly Hills and an Asher Walton House. So we did venture that way, and then up into South Dakota a couple of years ago.
wow. Wow.
But I haven't been, like, far east. I would love to do that sometime. I know the girlfriends and we've talked about doing that. So I know that we'll be going places. I just don't know when and where exactly. We're going down to Texas in 2 weeks, so I'm so excited for that.
Just saw somebody. Oh, Jocelyn just said that they're headed to Texas.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. We're doing Haunted Hill House and Hill House Manor and Goatman's Bridge.
Oh man, that's awesome. He said,
Yeah.
when the heck did she go to South Dakota?"
Well, that was pre-Jocelyn. I had a life before you, Jocelyn.
Now you've got to take Jocelyn to South Dakota. Um, I think we already answered this, but Deborah wants to know where's your next big investigation?
Yeah, so I do sleeper next weekend with the girlfriends and solo and parawonkies and chumming with spirits. And then the weekend after that is when we do Texas. And then I have Garnett in there several times. I go to Garnett really often. That's kind of home base for me.
That's awesome. Well, since we slid right into Garnett, look at this. So this is the Garnett Hotel. I have
Oh, there it
heard of it,
is.
but I don't really know much about it.
It has a very rich history. It was built in 1858 and served as a lot of different things. It was built originally as a home, but it was built by David Houston. He was a colonel, and his wife said that she would refuse to live in the home because it swayed in the wind. And in fact, when you stand in front of the hotel and look at it, it leans to the side. So it did in fact sway in the wind. It doesn't anymore, but it did. And then if you look at that attic window up there in the tip top, they would hang a lantern in that window, and it was called the Lighthouse Motel when it's or Lighthouse Hotel when it first opened because it could be seen from like 7 miles around. So any travelers coming through on horseback or wagon train could see the hotel. It was the first wooden structure in Garnett. So other than that, it was only log cabins at the time. And from then, it just the history blows up. There was an alleged axe murderer that was living in the attic. Was a prisoner kept there. It served as a jail temporarily while the jail was being built there in Garnett. It was a doctor's office for many years. It was a school periodically. It was a brothel. Just a lot of different things. So very, very rich in history, and it's incredibly haunted. It's the only place I've ever been scared out of.
Really? That's pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah. Our very first night there, it was my husband and I and, Katie, she's in the chat, I think. I saw her, um, talk about the mask earlier. So it was us and Katie and another friend, and our first night there, just things thrown at us, thought the ceiling was coming in, the whole house shook. There was just like an explosive noise that shook the whole house. Um, I didn't even realize how powerful the paranormal was until I went to the Garnet House, and then I was like, "Oh, this is not what I signed up for, and I'm done." I walked out at 12:30 that night and said I was done. I was never investigating anywhere again. And then by noon the next day, I was booking another investigation there because I had to go back and figure out.
I love it.
And yeah, since then, I've become good friends with the owner, so I get to go there and give tours and, show people around and help take care of things a little bit. So it's
That's
great. I love it. I've been there a lot and, still to this day, it it scares me out sometimes,
crazy.
nearly scares me out. Oh, yeah, the Grinner. I didn't even mention him, poor guy. He's the villain there. People call him a demon on YouTube. I don't believe that he is. That's just my opinion. I think he's some type of thought form that people have treated like a demon long enough that he tends to act like one. But I think he can be a really fun guy when he wants to. He gets my adrenaline pumping, that's for
That's for
sure.
sure. He knows what buttons to push.
Charlie says you're never I'm sorry, say
I
that
said
again.
he knows what buttons to push, right?
He does, yes. Yes. My friend Jen and I were staying there not long ago, and we it was 3:30. We were going to bed. It was just the 2 of us, and I was on the couch laying down. She was on a blow-up mattress next to the couch, and it just sounded like somebody took both fists and just hit the back door as hard as they could, and she lunged to, like, behind me, between me and the couch, and of course, my fear at the time was somebody was breaking in, like, that was my fear, but then all this noise started happening inside the house, and, there were shadows, there were footsteps, there was just the house just goes crazy. When it goes off, it goes off, and it just like, all different rooms will pop at one time, dolls fly off the shelves, um, balls, blocks, I was sitting in a room alone a couple of weeks ago, and a picture of Jesus that's in the corner just fell face down. I mean, it was clear across the room from me. I wasn't moving at all. Just crazy poltergeist activity there.
That's insane. Well, now
Mhm.
we've got to figure out how we're getting to Kansas.
You got it. You gotta experience that place. It's nuts.
Definitely got to figure out how to get there now. Maybe 2027.
Mhm. Okay. Well, when you come, I will I will go with you if I'm
Oh, you'll be
invited.
invited. Yep. That would be crazy. We have a place here that just recently opened to the paranormal. Um, it's up in Fredonia, PA. It's an old church, and it's the reliquary at St. John's. Um, a lady named the Blue Bodie owns it, and we were one of the first teams to get to investigate it. And she gave it to us free. She said, "Just go, make sure you post what you find, tell people about it." And so we did. And the first time we took 16 people with us, By the time like 2 a.m. rolled around, everybody had gone home but four of us. It was really scary. It was really creepy. We had one guy that drove from Gettysburg, which was like 5.5 hours there after work. He worked all day, drove
Yeah.
there, was there a few hours, and he's like, "Nope, I'm not staying here. I'm going home." Um, you had people was being chased up the steps. Some ladies got chased up the steps. Another guy went down to the basement to get his recorder. This is a guy who's done this like 25 years and just nothing phases him. He picked up his recorder, and as he's turning around, he hears a growl, and then something running at him. And he just starts screaming, "Get back, get the F back." He doesn't swear. And he's like,
Mhm.
"Okay, we've had enough." Um, and it was the entire night. Just once it hit like midnight, it just got really creepy. It got really, really bad. Then we got invited again a few weeks later, and there was one lady out there by herself. She's like, "My whole team flaked on me." So we're like, "Yes, we'll be there." And we have taken a break, and we're sitting in the safe space, and there are French doors that leads out into the a little hallway. You can go into the sanctuary. You could go upstairs. And I'm sitting there talking to them, and I'm facing those doors. I saw somebody come down those steps and walk into the sanctuary, and I'm like, somebody broke in. So I chased after them, yelling, and there was nobody there. Um, and the ladies are like, "What is going on?" So we're standing there in the little hallway, regrouping and talking about what we just saw. And then behind us was this big growl. And all three of us just looked at each other like, "Whoa." Um, the place is very, very scary. Um, but we love it, and we're going back again in another month or so. It's just one of those places that it has. I think it's just been closed up for so long
Mhm.
that now people are going in there. You're going to find out what's going on, and I'm not going to say it's a demon. I will not say it's a demon, but whatever is there is not happy. And I was told that it was something from another world. Um, and I don't know. I can't tell you much about things from other worlds, but I can tell you that it is a very creepy place, and a lot of people I know are not going back there,
I mean,
but we
it
will.
does sound terrifying. I have to give it to you.
Ask her what she did when she was chased. Oh, Deborah wants to know what you did when you got chased out. Well, I guess what was going through your mind, and how did you move about?
Um, so there were like 3 different big things that happened, and after the very first one, like I said, I had never experienced anything like that, and so we went outside. Do you have the picture of the attic of, like, the ladder room?
Yes, I have that up right now.
Okay. So at the top of that so it's not showing up on my screen, that's why. So at the top of that ladder, there's a hole in the ceiling, which is the entrance to the attic itself. And it was open at the time, and it was summer. I had been standing underneath that ladder and kept getting like a cobwebby feeling on my face. So I asked my husband to trade me places to see if he couldn't feel the same thing. So we traded places. And he eventually said, "Oh, yeah, I see what you're talking about. Like, I can feel that too." And as soon as he said that, there was such a loud crash above him in the attic. It shook the whole house. It sounded like somebody dropped a bowling ball. He went to the floor thinking that the ceiling was, the ceiling was coming in. And then at the same time, there was a ball that got thrown directly through the hole. So, not rolled out. This ball did not roll out of the attic. It was thrown through the attic opening and landed at my feet. We had like cat balls set up all the way around the opening of the attic. Had it rolled, it would have set one of them off. There was a doll up there that should have fallen if it had rolled. This thing came just right through the center of the attic opening, and with force, with tremendous force. So that was the first thing that happened. And of course, I jumped back into a different room, even screamed, made a fool of myself. But we were all scared. Like, that was terrifying. And so we went outside and went to the car and calmed down and prayed. And then we thought, well, we'll go back in, but we'll just stay downstairs. We won't go upstairs. So we went back in and stayed downstairs. But there continued to be things that happened. The bookshelf, which is kind of famous because the painting that was done of the Grinner, he, yeah, he is leaned against a bookshelf that is 6 feet tall. But the Grinner, like, his head goes clear to the ceiling, so he's a tall dude. But that bookshelf, I was standing in front of it, and my friend said, "You know you're in his spot," meaning the Grinners, and I said, "Yeah, I know," like, kind of sarcastically, and just then, like, a doll pitches off the top of it and lands on top of me, which startled me, but in my mind, I thought, "Okay, I probably caused that to happen because I was kind of leaned back against it." So we put the doll back up, we try and get it to happen again, and I can't. We start loading up our equipment, and my friend said, "Oh my gosh, look, look, look. The bookshelf is leaning backwards." So the 6 foot tall bookshelf from the side, she could see it leaning back into the wall, like moving by itself. And my husband's watching too, and all of a sudden the doll just bam flies back into the wall, just like something punched it, is what it looked like. And we were like, "We are out of there." But also, I guess before that even, we left the lights on upstairs. And so we knew we had to turn the lights off because that's what they told us to do before we left. Nobody wanted to go back upstairs. We were terrified. So we were like the Scooby Doo gang, the four of us. We were like creeping up the stairs to go into the rooms and turn off the lights. And when we got into this one room, there was like a bed warmer, a metal bed warmer, and it falls. I wasn't even in the room. I separated from the group to turn off lights in other rooms, but I heard it crash and I heard them scream. And then across the room from that, this music box starts playing, and they run down the stairs without me, by the way. Just want to throw that in there. Thanks, friends. But I I quickly follow them, but behind me on the wood floor, there's just like boom, 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 boom. Like, I can hear these heavy boot steps chasing me, and all I could think of was it's gonna push me. Like, it's gonna push me and we're gonna domino right down the stairs, which are janky anyhow. Um, but thankfully, we made it down safely. We were ready to leave, but then we decided to do a little experiment by the bookshelves, and that's when that happened. And so finally, 12:30, we were just like, "We're done. That's it. We're out."
It's pretty
So that was
pretty
my first experience there. That's what happened. We went out a couple times, afraid. Hey, there's chumming. Thanks for being in here, guys.
got all kinds of friends showing up. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I
I
got
told
one
you I
more.
have the best
Yeah, they're lining up. I love it.
friend.
So here's a picture of Sleeper Mortuary.
Yeah, so this is where we get to go this weekend with Chumming and the crew. And so I included this picture just because it's another one of my favorite locations. It's in Iola, Kansas, which is just 20 minutes down the road from Garnett, and about an hour and a half. It's actually a little closer to me than Garnett is. But I love this place. It's recently opened about probably a year and a half ago. I'm not quite positive. So it's new, and was a mortuary, most recently a private residence, but there's just like 2,700 funerals. I mean, just a crazy number of people connected or spirits connected to the location, and a lot of neat artifacts that were found in the building. The owner, Tori, she brings in fantastic things. Like, you can see in the picture, there's an Oddfellows casket in there. And then next to that, there's a second casket. dated back in the day. Really neat things, a lot of activity, especially for being a place so new. And like the best
Hmm.
EVPs I catch are at Sleeper Mortuary. I don't post a lot of evidence because it's hard to convince myself that stuff is doesn't have a logical explanation,
Uh-huh.
much less try and convince others. But I have posted EVPs from Sleeper just because they are so accurate.
That's crazy.
They're s Yeah, they're solid.
That's crazy. So those are your top two places. Do you have a bucket list of places that you want to go to before you're said and done with this all?
You know, like I said, this past year, I focused a lot on collaboration, and I w dreamed big there for a while about different locations I'd like to go to, and I went to a lot. Like, I went a lot of places this last year, even if it was within, the Midwest. But really, I'm kind of refocused back to the research side of things, and so I will probably stick closer to home this year and revisit places that I go to more often just because I feel like I know the place and I know
Mhm.
when there are changes in it and I know what works there and what doesn't. But then it's also fun, like for Garnet House, I every time I'm there, I think, well, I've seen it all. There's nothing more this house can do. And then I go back and it does something
Yeah,
just entirely different.
that's
So
for
and I
sure.
love that part of it too, like discovering new things, and it makes you wonder, like, what makes a room active for months at a time, and then all of a sudden, it's a different room
Yep.
that becomes more active, like, what shifts are happening, and are ghosts even real? Like, or is it energy, or is it fractured souls, or is it there's just so many questions that I ask myself, and I feel like going back to the same location again and again, I get more answers than if I branch out and go to 100 different places.
Yep. Yep. No,
But that's not to say that I don't want to travel because I do like going to new places, especially with friends. I mean, we have so much fun, so I'm always up to travel somewhere with friends.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I have this big bucket list of things that I want to do, and I often think about it, and I'm like, I could go there and do that, and that would be really cool. But we have several places that we like to continue to go back to because it's always active, and you just want to see what's next.
Yeah.
And I think that I like the way your thinking is on that, and I think that's pretty cool. I do. I think that refocusing yourself, refocusing yourself and your time on what is there and trying to figure it out. I think it's a big
Mhm.
deal.
Mhm. So I was
Yep.
reading Deborah's question. I think there's benefits to both. Like I know a lot of the history at Sleeper and Garnett, well, places that I go to frequently. I know the history there, like McIntyre Villa. McIntyre Villa, I have to say this in Atchison, is a place that always has surprises. Like I feel like I know the history really well. I've even written a lot about the McIntyre Villa. But every time I investigate there, there's like a spirit that's there that I think, like, where did you come from? Why are you here? And it's always fun to get those answers. So sometimes I love having the history, and other times it is fun to just go and see what you can discover on your own and then see what matches up. I really enjoy bringing new people in or friends in. I have a lot of friends that are sensitive, and I like letting them come in kind of blind and see what they pick up on because I know that I do get probably I don't know what the word is. I'm influenced by what I already know,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I like to see people come in that don't have that bias.
Yes. We're taking some new people that we actually haven't even met them yet in person, but spent time with them on the internet now, and we're taking them to one of
Right.
our favorite places. And I just had a podcast on Sunday with the guy that runs that place, so they've heard some stuff about it. But I can't wait for them to get there and see their reactions to what I know goes on. I think
Mhm.
that's very important because you can look at something and then somebody else look at it, you two can see two different things, or you can feel two different things, and it's not the same to everybody. So when you have an expectation for it, you want to see if others find that same thing or if it's something totally different to them. And I think there's a
Right.
lot of
Right.
that in this in the paranormal.
Yeah, and you wonder why some spirits reveal themselves to some people and not to others. Like, we can go the same night to the same location and have completely different experiences.
Yes, that's for sure, for sure.
Yeah, JD was there, a couple of weeks ago with us, and yeah, that's true. He said, "You're getting too used to the place because you're apologizing for no activity when we've had more activity here than what we would normally see anywhere." Like, yeah.
That's see that is you might have a problem, you know?
Oh, I know I have a problem. That's the question. Do I wanna solve the problem? That's the
Right.
question.
Yeah, I'm not ready for the solutions for that stuff either. I just want to keep going.
Exactly. Exactly. What's your favorite location?
um, it's a little place in Circleville, Ohio, and it's called the Greg Kreitz Octagon House. It was built in the
Mhm.
1850s. It just recently was moved because Walmart bought up all the land and they moved it. But we've been there 4 times. We're going for 2 more nights here in a couple more weeks. And every time I've been there, it has just been crazy active. You name it, we've had it there. Shadow figures, disembodied voices, uh, being touched. I mean, anything that can happen has happened. And there's never
Mhm.
anything negative in this place. It's just
Oh.
so it's so powerful and it's so I don't want to say that they're welcoming because if there's too many people there, they're not going to react the same way. We always keep our groups small, but
Mhm.
it's an incredible little space, and I have not found anything else that even is close to it.
That
If you
sounds
ever
it
get
sounds like a
to
cool place.
if you ever get to Columbus, Ohio area, that's where they're at. I mean, that's probably still 12 to 15 hours from
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, but we go up into, like, Illinois, so it's not too much farther, right?
No, not really. We're Pittsburgh, and
Yeah,
Pittsburgh to the Monroe House is like 5.5 hours. So, no, that's not a terrible drive to Columbus.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
Deborah said if
Did
you
you
ever
notice
get
a
out this
change
way,
in
that's one place you would definitely have to check out.
did you, notice a change in activity when it was moved?
We never went before it was moved. We've only gone since it was moved. Um,
Okay. How
but I
recently was it moved?
uh, 4 or 5 years.
It moved to, like, a little community with other little
No,
older no, that's n
it
okay, I'm thinking of the
it's
wrong one
literally
then.
like a half a mile from where it was, and it's just across the street. It's still in the cornfield, and you can see Walmart from where it was at.
I see.
It's still on
Okay.
the same parcel of land, but they've just sold off most of the land. I think it was like I forgot how many, it was 600 acres or something, and now it's like 13
Mhm.
acres or something.
Okay. I had it confused with another
Maybe Bi-
house.
Billy Creek Village.
That might have been yeah, I bet
They
you're right.
they have a collection of. We're going there this summer, but they have a
Oh,
collection of old buildings that were moved there.
okay, yeah, I bet that's what I'm thinking of because they have, like, a house that's an I don't know if it's an octagon house, but, like, a there's an unusual structure there, I
Yeah,
remember.
I forget them
thinking
all.
that
There's
might
a bunch of them there.
yeah.
I
Well,
think there
that'll be
was.
exciting.
I think there's 50 octagon houses left in the U.S. And this is
Mhm.
the only one that the inside is actually an octagon and not square. Um,
Oh,
so it's really
interesting.
cool,
Okay. Mhm.
really cool place.
Neat.
Um, let's see what else you got to throw at us. This is really good,
Gosh, I don't know. Do you have any questions?
guys. In the comments,
Throw me
everybody that doesn't know Ashley, I mean, almost everybody in the comments knows Ashley.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. They all call me Pen because we have so many Ashleys in our group. I've been in investigations with up to 5.
Wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Can you ask
So,
Penn if she would take her bestie to Waverly?
of course, as long as Jocelyn foots the bill, I'll drive. No, we do need to get out there. We do.
Do you have
Any
any
haunted dolls?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good question.
So I have one haunted doll. He's
Oh,
right here.
yes, he is.
And his name is Jeff. I have not gotten a lot of activity from him, but also I've not worked with him a lot. But I have had things fall off these shelves since he's set up there. So I don't know. I don't know if that's from him or not. Um, Jocelyn, my friend Jocelyn, she is like the haunted doll lady of the paranormal. She's awesome. She even has a new show out called Confessions of a Haunted Doll Mom. I think I said that right.
I just
Um,
saw that on your timeline yesterday, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. So yeah, she has the coolest dolls. And actually my favorite haunted doll is one that belongs to her. I have like auntie status with the doll, and so she's even come and stayed at my house. But she has the spirit of a serial killer attached to her. So that's
Hit you.
fun. Oh, I forgot. I did wake up with a bite mark,
Oh my.
right after I got him, but he was a dentist, so,
Oh,
I mean,
oh,
it makes sense that he was a little bitey at first,
wow. That's awesome.
but yeah, I need to work with them.
Well, I have
Yeah,
two,
so,
right? This young lady here, and then
uh-huh,
this little guy back here. These are my two dolls. Um,
nice.
she has a cat ball in her lap, and oh, it must be dead.
She's
She likes to
worn it
play with
out.
it, and
Mhm.
she freaks Deborah out. When I'm at work, she will play with the ball, and Deborah's like, "I'm not going over there." I'm like, "Just go shut the ball off," and she's like, "No, I'm not going over there."
Do you know who's attached to her?
I don't. The ladies that I adopted her from tell me she's a
Mhm,
little girl and that she is more on the mischievous side. And actually, Tommy, the little one, he's supposed to be like a 7-year-old boy.
uh-huh,
Tommy is very stubborn. He will only do something when he wants you to. You can't even like beg him to do anything. Um,
mhm.
and I really haven't worked with either one of them. And my apologies. I do need to spend more time with them, but both of them have shown that they are viable, and I'm not sure that Deborah wants to see them do any more. So, what did you think of the
What did I
Sally house?
So, the Sally House. So I've been 3 times or 4,
Wow.
I don't know, to the Sally House, but the first couple of times I went, it was not active. Like, I didn't have any opinions about it. And then I went with the girlfriends, and it was a whole different night. And Josh and I, who's Phantasma, um, we all went together. And my husband went. Uh, there was a Dybbuk box brought in and opened. It was a wild, wild night at the Sally house, and it kind of changed my opinion of it. But I'm also fortunate because we happened to run into Tony and Deborah Pickman at the KC Paracon last year. They walked in, and I fangirled because I've watched them, of course, on TV for years and years. And I'm kind of shy. I have to push myself to do things like tonight, but not Jocelyn. So I told Jocelyn, I want to meet them so badly. And so she took me up and, she jumped in, and everyone loves Jocelyn. So I got to meet the Pickmans. And then when we went, we kind of stayed in touch, all of us. And so when we went to the Sally house, we talked to them. I can't remember the exact order of things, but anyhow, they had 2 dolls that were very active, like flaming active, like caught fire active when they lived there. And they gifted those dolls to Jocelyn.
Wow.
And I got to be a part of that. It was amazing. So they are now in the doll room, in the purple room with the rest of the haunted dolls. And she's brought those back to the Sally house. We have had really just cool activity and just so many answers to things. It's really fun to like sit and talk and theorize and bounce ideas off each other. And um, this, there's been a lot of answers, I feel like, that have been received. And um, Jocelyn has really just taken the information from the Sally house and run with it. And um, the Pickmans also gave her all of their research and actual drawings that happened, like spirit drawings that they got from the Sally house when they lived there, pictures they took, images that Tony drew, like just phenomenal things. And so she has all of that and has just studied it. She's made it kind of her mission almost through this. But yeah, so what I originally thought about the Sally house is not at all what the Sally house has become to me. I think it's a crazy active location. Even what I've experienced there is really cool. But hearing the stories firsthand from the Pickmans, things that you didn't hear on TV that happened there, have made me such a believer in, how do I say this? There for a while, I didn't believe demons existed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought pretty much all evil things were some type of thought form. And I know all people don't believe that way, and that's fine. Like everyone, each to their own.
Right.
But then I say, let me clarify. I think that evil exists. That's not what I didn't mean to say that. I don't think it hides in dark basements or abandoned houses and waits for people to come in. I'll say that. I think that you see it in homes and you see it in churches, even, or in the hallways of schools. I mean, I've seen evil. But after hearing the stories that the Pickmans told for the first time, I thought, oh my gosh, there's a demon in that house. Like there's something demonic there. And I still don't know that I don't believe that to be true. There's a lot of other information that's come out through investigation. And Jocelyn has some amazing theories that she's studied and I think are very valid. So there's something really special going on there. I'll say that. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think we know little aspects of it, but I think there's something way deeper too that could possibly be happening. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's quite the place.
Yeah, that is really cool. So we got kind of went past this, but Donna wants to know, how do you know if a doll is haunted?
I'm not the right person to answer this because I I'm not a good haunted doll mom at all. I have little Jeff back here, and he just is ignored most of the time.
Mm.
Um, but I can tell you, I do have another doll. He's hang on.
Oh,
So he's this guy, and I was in an antique store in Branson, Missouri. Well, even now, I can tell you, as soon as I picked him up, my heart is racing. Like I'm having heart palpitations. So this guy has the craziest energy attached to him. I don't know what it is. I know when I first walked up to him, my husband was like, "Come here, you got to look at this clown." And I walked over to him, and immediately I got just sick to my stomach feeling
I was just
super
gonna
nauseous.
say I feel very uneasy just since you put that in there. I'm not afraid of
Yeah.
clowns, but I feel very,
Hmm.
very uneasy that quick, and it's just yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah. He
off.
made me super nauseous. I walked away from him. I went back to FaceTime a friend and see if she felt anything from him. I'm going to set him aside because I am like having trouble
Jocelyn
breathing.
said, "I want him."
Okay. So yeah, so I went back over there to FaceTime a friend, and then I started getting like the racing heartbeat. And so I don't know, how do you tell? I feel like he's haunted. I feel like
You
he's
can
probably
feel it.
more haunted. Hmm.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can
Yeah.
feel it. Sometimes that they will talk to you. In the case of both of my
Hmm.
dolls, I got the Tommy was on Facebook and somebody posted, I'm selling these haunted dolls, and I kind of chuckled to myself. I'm like, come on, really? And so I'm scrolling through it, and the next thing I know is I see this picture of this doll, and it's like, I need you, and I'm like, why would I even think that? And so I
Yeah.
closed Facebook. I was actually at work. I closed Facebook and went back to work. A little while later, I opened it again, and I went right back to that page, and I'm like, I'm adopting him right now, and I did. And 57 years old, and I'm adopting a doll. Come on. Um,
Yeah.
if you'd have told me that I was going to adopt a doll, I'd have laughed and be like, "There's no way." And then she was pretty much the same way. We were at a Paracon, and I know the ladies that had her, and she was right across the table from us, or across the hall from us. And all weekend long,
Mhm.
she just kept calling to me, and I'm like, finally, I just got up. I said, I'm going to buy her, and I did, and I brought her back to my table. And it wasn't 5 minutes later, another lady come along, and she's like, "Did you just buy that doll from over there?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I was looking at her, but they said somebody was going to come and buy her today." And she called to me. So that's, to me, that's how you know if a doll is haunted. You'll feel it, you'll see it,
Mhm.
you'll hear it. There's something that
Mhm.
draws you to that doll.
Yeah. I agree.
And I don't claim
Yeah.
to have
I just felt like,
any psychic abilities or anything like that. It's just you,
mhm.
you're drawn.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of funny story about that clown doll. So my friend Tony and I, she's part of the group of women that investigate together. We went to a clown museum, and I took him with me. And when we closed up for the night, she shut the door, and I had set him inside on a little bench. She closed the door, it was locked, and I was like, "Oh, I forgot my doll inside." And so she went to open the door back up, wouldn't work. The key wouldn't work. She tried over and over and finally decided like she just had the wrong key, or she had locked the wrong lock or something like that. But went back the next day and it worked.
Wow.
So he just wanted to hang out there. I had to leave him there. He stayed there for a long time. There's Tony. Yeah, thanks for being in here, Tony. Yeah, Tony's amazing.
That is a crazy
Yeah.
story.
Mhm.
Okay, here's another good one. Deborah comes up with some good questions.
I mean, yeah, this happens. I think it happens to probably everyone from time to time. So I'm going to tell you something, and it makes me sound crazy when I tell people this, but I promise it's true. And other people who have experienced this house have experienced similar things. So um, I feel like that kind of validates my experiences. But months before I ever even knew about the Garnett house, I was laying in bed one night and uh, it wasn't like I shouldn't even say at night. I think it was during the daytime, actually. My husband and I were laying there just chatting, whatever. And I'd closed my eyes. We'd both like close our eyes, but I opened my eyes back up and there was this man creature thing leaned over me and like right in front of my face. And he had this smile that went clear up almost to his ears, like it just stretched clear across his face, like the creepiest, like this kind of smile that stretched up. And I said a cuss word really loud. And of course, Craig jumps up. He's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, there was a man. There was a man right there." And I see things sometimes, but that was the first time I'd ever been felt threatened by something, like it was trying to scare me or trying to get to me. And then it like a couple months after that, I saw something by the bed and I said, "Hey, Craig, are you awake?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "There's a black man standing by the bed." And I described what he was wearing. And I could tell it was somebody from probably the early, like mid 1800s, late 1800s, somewhere in there. And I wouldn't know the significance of those two events until I went to the Garnett house and realized that the Grinner is a main character there, the main character there, and then the man that lived in the attic that was accused of axe murdering the neighbor was a free man. It was during the Civil War that it happened, but he was not enslaved. He worked for Mr. Houston that built the home hotel originally, and he lived in the attic. And when the neighbor lady came up, axe murdered, there was kind of like a vigilante group of men that went out to search for the killer. They supposedly found his bloody clothing and went up into the attic, drug him out, tied him behind a horse, drug him through town, and then made him basically confess to the murder, hung him from the rafters of the jail that they were building at the time. So, pretty sordid story. I don't know if he was innocent or guilty. We get a lot of information about that when we're there, or tend to. But so I am under my belief is that on the other side, that time is a lie. Like time doesn't exist. We live in a linear time. They do not. So while I might not have met the Grinner in the physical world until I visited the Garnett house, he might have known me in the infinite space that is the other side, if that makes
Yep,
sense.
yep. I had a
Like they knew before I did to be there.
yep. I had a follower I picked up at the Bel Air house the first time I was there, and I had him for about 16 months. And a psychic friend of mine told me that he knew me in another life, that he could hurt me, but he wasn't going
Mhm.
to hurt me, and that I needed to take him to a specific place. But he wouldn't tell me where the place was, and I just needed to figure it out and go. It so happened to be I went to the Ohio State Reformatory last summer, and that's where he jumped off at. Um,
Oh,
and
interesting.
now I just went to the Bel Air house last weekend, and in 2 weeks I'm going back to OSR. So, uh, little, little cautious, but it's definitely something that I think happens more than people realize it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that, yeah, you definitely get hitchhikers when you travel. I know just around here, if we go to McIntyre or go to Sleeper or Garnett, I mean, we'll pick up sometimes on spirits that we think, wait, you should be at Sleeper or you should be at Garnett. Well, why are you here? Um, but it's very common for people in this area and even investigators from other states to come here and kind of like hit all those locations in one visit. And so you're thinking, yeah, it would make sense that they would hitchhike.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a
Yeah, that was a good question.
definitely a wild time in my life because I never even really considered it. Um, and a lot of people
Mhm.
think that if you have a follower, it's an attachment and it's going to adversely affect you, and that's not always the case. And I would say that it's typically mostly not the case. That if you have a follower, they're just there to move on to somewhere else.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't been adversely affected by something that's followed me home. Like we've had stuff happen here after investigations, but nothing that ever felt scary. I've not been to Villisca. That's one of the places that I do plan on going soon though. Um, yeah, Malvern Manor that we have investigated several times is up there near Villisca. It's just 40 minutes or so. So I plan to get there. I do have a clown though in here that came from the Villisca
Oh,
axe murder house. It belonged to Johnny Hauser.
that's really cool.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah. So I do have that little piece of.
your friends are cracking me up. Oh my gosh.
Oh, they're a mess. It's probably a good thing I can't see the chat because yeah, they're a mess. So much fun. You can imagine how much fun we have on investigations. And they're probably inappropriate.
No,
Sorry.
they're very well behaved.
Okay, okay, good. That's not typical.
Oh shoot, that's funny. Whoops. Um, yes, I totally agree with that. That they can be on different planes and never cross paths. I
Mhm.
believe that 100%. They said us a mess. No. That's too funny.
I wouldn't have them any other way, though.
No,
I have to say that.
uh,
I love them with my whole heart.
they're a lot of fun. I can just tell from their comments, and it's really good.
Yeah.
um, well, we're an hour 17 in, and I didn't even think we were an hour in yet, so that's
Yeah.
really good. um,
Well, thank you so
yes,
much.
no, it was a pleasure having you on. Um, and if you ever want to come back on again, and I'm sure I'll reach out to you again as well, but um, if you ever come this way, if you're coming Pittsburgh, Ohio, and anywhere out east, yell, and we'll do the same going that way. Um,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think it would be a lot of fun. We have some cool places as
Mhm.
well, and
Absolutely. Yeah, I hear great things from back east. I definitely wanna go out there someday and just make a big, giant road trip, um, and hit all of them. But oh, thanks, Jen. I love you guys.
Charles gave the too cool.
Mhm. Yeah, we love Charlie too. He's
He sounds
awesome.
like he's pretty excited for the weekend. So
Yes, he's gonna be there too. I didn't mention that earlier.
he did.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited. He's, like, so knowledgeable. That boy has more information in his head than I will ever have in mine my whole entire life, and I'm probably, like, 3 times his age, but, no, we like him a lot.
Oops.
Oh, love you, Tony. Oh my gosh. You guys are making me feel really special
Chubbing
tonight.
said
Thank
Mansfield's pretty
you.
cool. We're going to Mansfield on the 19th of this month. So that's our second
Oh,
time there in a year. So I think it's cool. It's a good place to go. This one is a private.
mhm.
The last time we went was on a public, but and this lady right here, she's asked a few questions tonight. That is my sister. She is one of our team. She makes all of our team shirts, and now she's making a friend of mine's team shirts. And she's just awesome.
Nice. Well, thank you, Donna,
So, he said,
for being in here tonight.
Idiot savant, some say. So, all right.
No, it's genius, pure
Yep,
genius.
that's all it is. It's genius. Sometimes it's misunderstood genius, but it's genius.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you again so much for being on with us. And like I said, you're welcome at any time, and I will reach back out again. Um, I want to leave some time so you can have more adventures and have more stuff to tell us. But if you or any of
Yeah.
your friends ever want to come on, Jocelyn, I would love to talk to Jocelyn, but if she has a podcast, maybe we do it the other way around and I let her ask questions. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. No, she actually hers is a true show. Like she films and edits and it's on YouTube
that's too
under
much damn work.
Confessions of a Haunted Doll Mom. It's at 17. You'll have to check that out.
I did see it on your timeline yesterday. I'm like, well, that's something I got to watch, but I just haven't had time yet. So we're definitely going to check that
Yeah.
out.
No, she's super entertaining.
That is awesome.
She is magnetic.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Deborah said thank you, and you guys have a great weekend. And
Thank you so much.
we will be keeping up with you and talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks
All
again.
right, thank you. Have a good night.